I notice it first beneath the marble counter, glinting faintly under the fluorescent light. A keychain, silver, with a polished monogram engraved into the plate. C.A.M. My mop handle nudges it by accident, and the sound tiny, metallic, undeniable echoes through the empty lobby like a secret breaking open. I bend down careful, my gloves squeaking softly against the polished floor, and pick it up. It's heavier than I expect, cool as a coin, and carries a faint trace of perfume I've smelled before, but never owned. I slip it into my apron pocket, though I know I should leave it in the lost and found box near the elevators. Something in me hesitates. The letters burn in my palm, as though they belong not to the marble floor of this tower, but to me. I have cleaned this building for 3 years, always at night, when the executives have gone, when the glass walls are mirrors and the smell of bleach rises sharp, honest, cutting through the perfume of expensive suits that linger long after their owners. My name is Elena Cruz. I am 38 years old. I know every streak on these windows, every crack in the tiles, every shadow that falls across the grand staircase at midnight. I also know my life is built on silence, on keeping my head low, on leaving no trace but the shine I leave behind. But the keychain keeps pressing against me as I mop, like a stone in my shoe, like a truth waiting to be said. The monogram is the same as mine. Cruz my mother's name. Aguilar my father's name, though he was never there. Marquez my grandmother's, who raised me in a cramped apartment overlooking the old port. The initials line up like an accusation. C.A.M. For years I thought my name was ordinary, small. But tonight it stares back at me in silver, engraved with authority, belonging to someone with power in this building. At 2 a.m, I finish the last corridor. My bucket water is gray, clouded with dust, and I watch the swirl of dirt like a storm caught in miniature. Cleaning always feels like proof that something dirty existed before me, something hidden. Yet tonight, as I empty the bucket and smell the raw sting of bleach on my gloves, I think of what dirt hides inside my name. 3 days later, when the morning staff rush in, crisp and polished, I overhear one woman whispering at the reception desk. "Mr. Camilo Marquez is furious," she says. "He lost his family keychain, solid silver, generations old." My mop freezes mid-stroke. Camilo Marquez. The name vibrates through me. The CEO of Marquez Holdings, the empire that owns half the warehouses on the eastern seaboard, that controls the port contracts, the real estate developments, the very building I scrub each night. Marquez, whose photo I've seen in newspapers, standing in tuxedos at charity galas, toasting champagne under chandeliers. Marquez, my grandmother's last name, the one she never explained, except to say wasn't for me to ask. That night I don't sleep. I take the keychain from my apron pocket, trace the letters over and over. I stare at the mirror in my bathroom, cracked at the corner reflecting my tired eyes. I hold the silver up beside my face, and the mirror throws us together, the object and the woman who shouldn't hold it. A question hovers like bleach fumes. Am I cleaning the floors of a building that already belongs to me? I search through my grandmother's old trunk. Inside I find yellowed papers, hospital receipts, scraps of handwriting. One folded envelope, brittle with time, has my name written in her slanted script. Inside is a hospital registration slip from 1985. It lists a mother, Isabel Aguilar, an infant, female, and under father, the space is not blank. It says, Camilo Marquez, signed, initialed by a nurse. My breath catches. I close the paper fast, as if it might burn me. But it is already too late. The truth has seeped in. Days become weeks. I clean the mirrored lobby with trembling hands. Every reflection of myself feels multiplied, scattered, as though each pane is whispering. Daughter, heir, hidden. I tell no one, not yet. Silence is the skill of cleaners. We see everything, we say nothing. But the silver keychain, the hospital slip, and the name Marquez weigh heavier than any mop bucket. One Thursday, the building hosts an investors' gathering. The ballroom gleams with chandeliers. I am scheduled to prepare the lobby before guests arrive. While polishing the marble, I overhear them rehearsing the opening toast. To the Marquez legacy, a man proclaims. To the purity of lineage, purity. The word clangs against me. My gloves squeak too loud on the floor. A guard eyes me, but says nothing. That evening, after hours, I walk to a notary office near the port. The clerk frowns when I present the hospital record. He scans it, checks the signatures, compares dates. Then he nods. Authentic, he says. He stamps a notarized copy. The sound of the stamp is heavy, final. Proof official, undeniable. I keep cleaning, night after night, but everything has shifted. When I push the mop across the lobby, I imagine dragging secrets into the open. When I polish mirrors, I feel them waiting to reflect not only light, but bloodlines. The bleach smell clings to my skin as if trying to erase me, but I no longer feel invisible. The confrontation comes sooner than I expect. One morning, I arrive early to find the lobby crowded. Reporters, cameras. The board of Marquez Holdings has called a press conference. They stand beneath the glass ceiling. Camilo Marquez in the center, his hair silvered, but his suit immaculate. He speaks of expansions, of contracts, of legacy. Behind him, the mirrored wall reflects his certainty 100 times. My hands shake, but I step forward. Excuse me, I say. My voice sounds small against the polished marble. Heads turn. Guards tense. But I continue, steady. I found something, and I have proof. Gasps ripple. Cameras swing toward me. Camilo's eyes narrow, sharp as cut glass. Who are you? He demands. Elena Cruz, I say. I reach into my apron and hold up the keychain. Its silver glints under the lights. The room murmurs. Camilo stiffens. That belongs to my family, he says. Yes, I answer. And so do I. The silence that follows is colder than bleach, heavier than marble. A reporter leans forward, microphone trembling. Explain, he says. I pull out the notarized document. My gloves squeak against the paper as I unfold it. I read aloud, Hospital registration 1985, infant female, mother, Isabel Aguilar, father, Camilo Marquez. I lift my head. That infant is me. The mirrored wall reflects 100 versions of me, standing steady, holding paper and silver. Proof in one hand, inheritance in the other. For years I was just a cleaner, invisible, scrubbing away dirt that others left behind. But tonight, the dirt belongs to someone else. Voices erupt. Reporters shout questions. Board members murmur. Camilo steps back, pale under the lights. Impossible, he says. His voice falters. A forgery. The notary confirmed it. I reply calm, each word like a mop stroke, leaving no streak. And this keychain found me, not the other way around. The lobby spins with noise, but inside me there is only stillness. A floor finally scrubbed clean, a mirror finally wiped to clarity. The bleach smell lingers in my nose, sharp, honest, a reminder that truth burns before it heals. I stand taller, no longer bending with the mop, no longer erased by silence. In front of the cameras, the mirrors, the board, and the man who denied me, I exist documented, undeniable, reflected. The questions batter me from all directions. Microphones push forward, cameras flash. Words like inheritance, illegitimate, heir ripple across the marble lobby. I taste metal in my mouth, like the silver keychain pressing into my palm. Yet I do not falter. Years of scrubbing, of silence, of breathing bleach until it scoured my lungs, have trained me for this moment. Standing firm when no one notices you is practice for standing firm when everyone does. Camilo grips the podium. His knuckles whiten. This woman, he says, his voice trembling but loud enough to travel through the mirrored walls, is delusional. She is an opportunist. I have no child outside my marriage. His words scatter like dust, desperate to cover the cracks. But dust is what I was born to clean. I will not let it bury me. A board member clears his throat. If she presents documents, he says, careful, we cannot dismiss them outright. For the sake of reputation, perhaps. A verification. His eyes flick toward me, not unkind, but not kind either. Calculating, as though I were another contract to negotiate, another stain to scrub. I have nothing to hide, I answer. My voice carries. The reporters grow silent. The record is authentic. The keychain bears the family initials, and I stop. My chest tightens. For 38 years I have lived quietly, cleaning what others dirtied, holding no claim but dignity. Now words heavier than marble wait in my throat. I am the blood you deny. Camilo's jaw tightens. He turns his back, signaling the press conference is over. Guards step closer. But the reporters push harder, flooding the air with questions. The mirrors multiply their faces, their hunger. In those reflections, I see my own resolve mirrored back at me, sharper each time. By evening, the story is everywhere. News broadcasts flash my face beside Camilo's, the caption reading, "Cleaner claims heirship to Marquez empire." Social media burns with speculation. Some laugh, some rage, some whisper of scandals long buried. I walk home through the Port District, my apron folded, the smell of disinfectant still clinging to me. Each step feels heavier, as though the city itself is pressing down. I enter my apartment, small and bare, and collapse into the chair by the cracked mirror. My grandmother's photo rests on the shelf above. Her eyes are tired but steady. "Did you know?" I whisper to the photo. "Did you hide me to protect me, or to erase me?" The silence answers with the faint drip of a faucet. The following week, I receive a letter. Hand-delivered, no stamp, slid beneath my door. The envelope bears the Marquez Holdings crest, embossed, heavy. My hands tremble as I open it. Inside, a summons. I am required to attend a board inquiry at headquarters. They seek clarity, evidence, resolution. I read the letter twice. The official seal gleams like a command. My stomach twists, but I know I cannot refuse. Silence will not protect me now. The day arrives gray and wet. Rain slicks the city, smearing neon lights into streaks like spilled paint. I carry my documents in a folder wrapped in plastic, careful as though carrying my own lungs. The building looms ahead, glass gleaming, mirrors catching the rain. Inside, the lobby shines brighter than ever, every surface polished as though preparing for judgment. I smell faint bleach. It is my own work, though I no longer hold the mop. In the boardroom, a long glass table stretches like a blade. Executives sit in rows, faces stern, polished. Reporters wait in the back, pens ready. Camilo sits at the head, his face granite, his eyes drilling through me. My breath falters, but I step forward, folder in hand. "Miss Cruz," the chairwoman says, her tone formal, clipped. "You claim blood relation to the Marquez family. Present your evidence." I place the hospital record on the table, then the notarized copy, then the silver keychain. Each item lands with a quiet finality. The air hums. One by one, the board numbers lean closer. The reporter's pens scratch. Camilo stares straight ahead, lips pressed thin. A man from the legal department adjusts his glasses. "The signatures align with our archives," he says softly. "The nurse listed is known to have worked at the Port Hospital in 1985. This appears consistent." Murmurs ripple. The weight of proof grows heavy, undeniable. Camilo slams his hand on the table. Lies, he shouts. His voice cracks. Fabrications, planted to disgrace me. She is nothing but a cleaner. His words slice the air, sharp, desperate. But even as they cut, I feel their edge dull. The more he shouts, the more the mirrors around the boardroom reflect not strength, but fear. I speak softly, but the silence carries my words farther than his rage. Yes, I am a cleaner. I know how to see what others pretend isn't there. I know dirt doesn't disappear just because someone rich says it does. I know mirrors don't lie, even if men do. And I know paper does not bleed unless truth is inside it. My voice trembles, but it holds. The board members exchange glances. The chairwoman clears her throat. Mr. Marquez, in light of these documents, we will commission an independent verification. Until then, we recommend restraint in public statements. Camilo's face burns red. He rises, storming out, the mirrored walls reflecting his retreat 12 times. The cameras capture it all. The image of a man fleeing his own reflection spreads across headlines within hours. In the days that follow, silence thickens around me. Neighbors avoid my eyes. Co-workers whisper, but say nothing aloud. I still clean the port warehouses at night. My job is not yet gone, but everywhere I go, I feel the weight of unseen eyes measuring me. The bleach smell no longer comforts. It clings, reminding me that I have scrubbed others' mess, while my own truth remained unspoken. Then a package arrives, delivered again without warning, again bearing the Marquez crest. Inside is a photograph, old, black and white. A young Camilo, barely 20, standing beside a woman I recognize only from a single faded photo of my mother, Isabel Aguilar. Their hands almost touch. On the back, in Isabel's handwriting, "For Elena, when you are ready." My breath catches. Proof more intimate than any record. A mirror of faces I carry in mine. The photo shakes in my hands. Days later, another envelope arrives, this one official. The board summons me again, this time for public resolution. My body quivers. I am not made for stages, for microphones, for mirrored rooms filled with the powerful. I am made for buckets and gloves, for silence. But silence is no longer mine to choose. The day of the hearing dawns cold, the kind of morning when even the sea air tastes metallic. I dress in my plain clothes, no gown, no jewels, only clean fabric and steady breath. In my pocket rests the photograph, the notarized record, the keychain. Proof layered upon proof, truth stacked like polished floors waiting for light. The lobby is packed with reporters, flashing lights bouncing off mirrored walls. The board assembles. Camilo sits stiff, hollow-eyed, his empire trembling in the reflection behind him. The chairwoman calls the session to order. Today we hear the matter of Elena Cruz's claim to blood relation with the Marquez family. My voice does not tremble as I step forward. I present evidence. I place each item on the table, deliberate, one by one. Hospital record, notarized copy, silver keychain, photograph. Together, they tell a truth no bleach can erase. The room holds its breath. The legal counsel examines each item. The reporters lean forward. The mirrors capture every angle. Finally, the counsel speaks. The evidence is consistent. The photo authentic. Handwriting confirmed. Records verified. The keychain documented as a family heirloom. He pauses. We recommend formal recognition of Miss Cruz as biological daughter of Mr. Camilo Marquez. The words drop like stones in water. Ripples spread, impossible to contain. Gasps, whispers, flashes of cameras. Camilo buries his face in his hands. The chairwoman bangs the gavel. The recommendation is accepted. Recognition is hereby formalized. In that mirrored lobby, Before executives and cameras, I stand not as invisible cleaner, but as blood acknowledged, name restored. My chest tightens, tears sting, but I do not fall. I have scrubbed too many floors to slip now. My reflection in the glass stands tall, steady, carrying both mop and proof, silence and voice. The mirrors no longer erase me, they multiply me. The moment the gavel strikes, the world tilts. Reporters surge forward, cameras strobing like lightning. My name, Elena Cruz Marquez, ripples through the air, repeated, dissected, claimed. Yet inside me, there is only stillness. A stillness like freshly washed glass, clear after years of grime. I clutch the keychain in my palm, its silver pressing against my skin, not as a weight, but as an anchor. For the first time, I am tethered to more than silence. Camilo does not look at me. He sits collapsed in his chair, face shadowed, hands trembling. A man who once commanded fleets of ships, who signed contracts worth millions, appears smaller than the mop buckets I used to haul. But there is no triumph in me, no desire for revenge. Only the sense of a floor finally scrubbed clean, a mirror wiped of dust. The board disperses. Reporters chase me outside, voices colliding. What will you do now? Do you seek inheritance? Will you join the company? Will you sue? Their questions cling like dirt, insistent. I raise a hand, quiet, firm. I seek recognition, I say, not revenge, not riches. Recognition. My words echo against the mirrored tower, carried by the cameras, multiplied in reflection. Then I walk away, leaving the microphones behind, like rags wrung dry. That evening, I return to my apartment. It feels smaller than before, the cracked mirror on the wall reflecting a woman I no longer fully recognize. I sit before it, hold the photograph of my parents together, young, fragile, almost smiling. For years I resented the silence, the unanswered questions. Now I see it differently. Silence was not erasure, it was survival. My grandmother carried the truth like bleach hidden under the sink. Sharp, corrosive, but ready when needed. She knew one day it would be poured across marble. The next week, the city shifts around me. Strangers stop me in the street. Some whisper blessings, some warnings. At the port, workers nod quietly when I pass. I still clean floors at night habit, survival, dignity. But each swipe of the mop feels different. Not erasing myself, but marking territory. The bleach smell that once choked me now smells like reclamation. The mirrors no longer frighten me. They return my gaze steady, multiplied, undeniable. Then comes the invitation, delivered formally, sealed in gold. The board requests my presence at the annual gala of Marquez Holdings, the grand ballroom event where contracts are toasted, fortunes displayed, power paraded. My instinct is to refuse. What do I belong to in ballrooms of crystal? My shoes are rubber, my hands calloused. But something inside whispers, you must stand where they tried to erase you. Not as guest of pity, but as truth embodied. The night of the gala is clear, the sky pricked with stars. The ballroom glitters with chandeliers, tables spread with silverware, glasses catching light like diamonds. Music hums, voices rise in laughter too polished. I walk in plain black dress, unadorned, carrying nothing but the keychain in my palm. Eyes turn, whispers trail, but I walk steady across the polished floor. The same floor I once scrubbed on my knees. Tonight I walk upright. Camilo is there, seated at the head table, face carved in stone. He does not rise when I enter. He does not meet my eyes. Yet his silence is the loudest sound in the room. The chairwoman greets me with a nod, leading me to the center of the ballroom. Tonight, she announces, we acknowledge not only profit, but truth. Legacy cannot be polished into perfection. It must be faced. She gestures toward me. Miss Elena Cruz Marquez, rightful daughter of this house. Applause trembles through the hall, uncertain at first, then steadier. I feel it not as triumph, but as balm, slow, tentative. The mirrors lining the walls reflect me in black dress, no jewels, no mask, only me. For once, that is enough. When asked to speak, I do not prepare grand words. I breathe, steady, and let truth guide me. I have lived my life cleaning, I begin. Cleaning is not glamorous. It is work no one applauds. But it teaches you to see what others hide. Dirt, cracks, dust, lies. Cleaning teaches patience, persistence, dignity. Tonight, I stand not as heiress, not as victim, but as a woman whose existence could not be erased by silence. I stand for every invisible hand that holds a mop, every voice dismissed. Truth, like bleach, cannot be disguised forever. It burns, yes, but it leaves the floor shining. The room holds its breath. No glass clinks, no whisper stirs. For a moment, even the chandeliers seem to dim. Then, slowly, applause rises, filling the mirrored hall until the reflections themselves seem to clap. I bow my head, not in defeat, but in reverence. For my grandmother, for my mother, for the silence that carried me here. Camillo does not clap. He remains seated, face pale, eyes hollow. But I do not need his applause. His silence is its own acknowledgement. The man of marble has cracked. The floor beneath him gleams with my reflection. After the gala, life does not transform into fairy tale. I still return to my small apartment, still scrub stains from stone, still wake with calloused hands. But something fundamental has shifted. My name is no longer hidden. When I pass the mirrored lobby of the tower, the guards nod, not dismissive but respectful. The executives no longer avert their eyes. Some even greet me, hesitant but sincere. Recognition, quiet, growing. Months later, I am offered a position, not on the board, not in management, but in heritage relations, curating the archives of the Marquez family. The irony stings. For years I cleaned their floors. Now I am asked to clean their history, but I accept, carefully. Not to glorify, but to preserve truth. I sift through boxes of letters, contracts, photographs. I catalog not only the empire's triumphs, but its silences. Every record I place in order feels like a mop stroke across marble, revealing, clarifying, undeniable. One evening, alone in the archive room, I find a letter in my mother's handwriting, addressed to Camillo, unsent. It reads, "She will one day look like you. Do not pretend otherwise. If you do not claim her, she will claim herself." My breath shudders. My mother knew. She trusted silence, but she trusted me more. I fold the letter, place it carefully beside the photograph, the hospital record, the keychain. Proof layered upon proof, legacy upon legacy. Time softens the frenzy. The news cycle moves on. The empire continues. Camillo grows older, withdrawn, his image fading from headlines. I do not seek his presence. I do not need it. My inheritance is not his fortune. My inheritance is clarity, recognition. A mirror no longer cracked. Years later, at the port, I watch ships move under dawn light, cranes swinging like arms against the sky. Workers move with rhythm, their hands strong, their backs bent but unbroken. I think of my grandmother's hands, wrinkled from scrubbing, of my own gloves stained with bleach. I think of how dirt never disappears. It only waits for someone to reveal it. I smile faintly, the salt air sharp, honest. I return home. The cracked mirror on my wall still stands, but now when I look, I do not see absence. I see a woman multiplied, steady, dignified. Elena Cruz Marquez. Cleaner, daughter, truth-bearer. My reflection no longer whispers silence. It speaks. The silver keychain rests on the shelf. I no longer carry it in my pocket. I do not need to. Its weight lives in me, engraved deeper than initials, deeper than silver. It is no longer a question. It is answer, permanent. And when I place the mop in the corner, leaning against the wall, I do not feel shame. I feel reverence. For the bucket that taught me endurance. For the bleach that taught me truth burns before it heals. For the mirrors that taught me reflection cannot be erased. These were never just tools. They were symbols, teachers, companions. They carried me to this place, where marble floors no longer own me, where mirrored towers no longer erase me. The story ends not with crowns or fortunes, but with clarity. My name spoken, my truth recognized, my reflection steady. I do not need applause. I do not need revenge. I need only this, to walk across the floors I once scrubbed, upright, unhidden, leaving no dirt behind. And so I do.